Hello everyone, we are team number 1. My name is Zach Oltheiser. These are my colleagues Dallas Dedman and Samantha Kane. We are a consulting firm hired to help your organization, Little Gym Health, or LGH, help transition and prepare for the imminent government regulations required under the Medicare Access and CHIP Reauthorization Act, more commonly known as MACRA. I'll be walking you through a proposal today which will help your organization transition to a value-based care institution to help in the oncoming years. We strongly believe that our proposal will help Little Gym Health with its missions and vision, specifically to be a progressive healthcare institution going forward. On a quick note though, MACRA is a required act, and specifically within 2017, there'll be 1 quarter worth of quality reporting required in healthcare institutions. Going forward, there'll be a full year required for all institutions, and if they do not comply, there'll be a negative penalty to regards to Medicare reimbursement. We currently have assessed that LGH needs help in getting their quality reporting better. Also, we believe that we can transition the organization from fee-for-service model into a value-based care model in which we place this patient at the center of all the care. Now I'm going to walk you through our overall proposal. Our proposal crosses a 6-year time span, and we include the 6th year at the beginning because 2017 has some major investments which we consider are key. In the first 2 years, we focus on the merit incentive payment model under MACRA, more commonly known as MIPS. After the first 2 years under MIPS, we will transition to an ACO Track 1 Plus model, and in our final year, we will move to an ACO Track 2 model. The ACO Track 1 Plus model is key in our proposal because it was developed by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, or CMS, to help organizations such as yours transition into a more value-based care format. Now some of the key financial impacts of our proposal today. Earlier I talked about non-compliance, now I'd like to give you a concrete, clear example of what that would look like. If you look at your Medicare expenditures currently, going forward, we estimate that if you are not compliant, you can lose $47 million. The main portion is at 9% going forward into 2022. Now I'd like to illustrate some key financial investments we intend to do in the proposal. Within the first 2 years, we want to upgrade the EHR system, not replace it. And one of the main things is we're going to develop a robust quality reporting system to help supplement this and be ready for the ACO model. Also, we intend to bring on staff for infrastructure purposes, such as quality coordinators and CMAs. Additionally, we're going to create a robust care coordination and discharge follow-up network to help with the continuum of care happening. Additionally, we're setting aside money for legal and consulting fees for the formation of the ACO. Within the following years, we are also going to make sure that we are having proper funding for the maintenance of all this infrastructure we just invested in. Additionally, we will be setting aside more money for legal and consulting fees for the formation of the ACO Track 2 model. A quick note is that Medicare incentive payments happen 2 years post-assessment. This is key, and you'll see it reflected in our financials soon. So our key financial assumptions that we laid out today is that our inflation rate was set at 2.5%, and that, as I mentioned earlier, our EHR system is upgraded and is not being totally replaced. Today we're asking for a total investment of $56 million. Although, if you look at our overall financials, we will capture Medicare incentive payments of $81 million and expect to reduce expenses by $87 million. As you see in our 2 final years, this is a key component of why we chose to do an advanced APM model, in that you're going to collect the lump sum payment of incentive paid out by CMS, which comprises a large part of our profit margin and was the main reason for you seeing this spike. Now, Dallas Dedman will talk about how supply chain management fits into our overall proposal.
Thank you, Zach. As a newly formed ACO, LGH has the opportunity to participate in various cost-saving initiatives. These include supply chain optimization, full utilization of a group purchasing organization or GPO membership, investing in top talent, a Little Gem community network, and also strategically partnering with outside institutions such as long-term and post-acute care. While LGH likely has a supply chain process in place, your low operating margin hints that there is room for improvement. There are many reasons an operating margin may be low, but we chose to focus on reducing supply expenses in order to increase this and make you more competitive. As Zach mentioned earlier, advanced APMs push health systems to spend under the SET CMS benchmark in order to earn full shared savings under the ACO Track 1 Plus model. Luckily, accountable care brings physicians and supply chain leaders together in an effort to maintain revenue while reducing spending and keeping patients out of the hospital. According to large medical center data, we assume that LGH's supply spend is around 40% of expenses, totaling in $225 million. Studies show that small improvements in your current supply chain operations can reduce expenses by 15% over 3 years after implementation. We chose a more conservative goal for LGH and assume that small improvements in your current system could reduce expenses by 2% over the next 4 years after implementation, assuming that your supply expenses remain the same. If we look at supply chain optimization alone, this would bring your supply expenses down from $225 to $207 million, resulting in an $18 million reduction. As a newly formed ACO, LGH will have 46 facilities in total and will desperately need an intelligent inventory management system in order to track the movement of supplies throughout the entire system. Luckily, B-City is a central hub for IT startups, and we strongly suggest that you invest in local talent in order to show that you are committed to the revitalization of the economy within B-City. Another component of supply chain management is vendor contracting and supply purchasing. While 98% of hospitals currently utilize a GPO membership, we assume that LGH is likely within a similar contract but may be underutilizing its full potential. So we suggest that you truly leverage your large size in order to gain the best possible pricing on supplies throughout the entire system. If you can achieve this goal, we assume that you could cut supply spends by 10% over the next 4 years after implementation, and ultimately this would reduce your supply expense from $225 to $202 million, resulting in a $23 million reduction. If you combine GPO membership maximization and supply chain optimization, this would bring your supply spend down from $225 to $184 million, resulting in a $41 million reduction. If we look at the impact on LGH as an entire ACO, this would bring your entire expenses down from $563 to $522 million, which would be a great asset to your institution and would ultimately ensure shared savings. Now that you are a new ACO, you also have the opportunity to recruit and retain top talent within B-City. Currently, LGH and LGCN, or Little Gem Community Network, are a loose affiliation. We highly suggest you include these physicians in your new model, and we propose doing that by 2 options. The first is via LGH employment, and this would appeal to physicians who wish to take minimal risk but still participate in MACRA, and those who do not want to invest in their own EHR system. The second is to offer forming a clinically integrated network between LGH and LGCN, and this would appeal to those physicians who wish to remain independent and do feel comfortable investing in their own EHR that could communicate with LGH and share quality data. We feel these 2 options are all-encompassing and provide LGCN physicians 2 viable options that would align with their own professional and personal goals. Now as an ACO, we also suggest that you invest in an open market within B-City, and that is partnering with post-acute and long-term care. If LGH can accomplish this, you can follow the patient through the entire care continuum and ultimately reduce readmissions. It would also allow you to focus on quality reporting metrics such as acute and chronic conditions and ultimately improve quality care delivery and quality outcomes. My colleague Samantha will now discuss how to overcome challenges when transforming to an ACO.
Thank you, Dallas. Now, I'm here to show you how you can move LGH from the traditional fee-for-service model and into value-based care. Navigating change is hard for any large organization. However, if you can master this transition process, you will be on the road to forming a very successful accountable care organization. First, let's look at LGH's current organizational structure. In your existing model, your Chief Information Systems Officers, along with your Vice Presidents of Quality, are on opposite ends of your organizational chart. This is problematic because moving forward with an ACO, it's essential that EHR technologies and quality reporting metrics become the backbone of your organization moving forward. Therefore, we recommend that both parties have a bigger seat at the table and are a part of all decision-making processes and are both a central piece of the C-suite moving forward. Furthermore, we have noticed a current gap in communication between your different care networks. Ultimately, this is problematic because it's challenging to track the patient as they move through the continuum and at the point of discharge from your facilities as well. We recommend having key physician leaders that are going to represent each care network via leading stakeholders within your organization. This will help to keep the patients aligned and within your care network, and ultimately prevent unnecessary leakage for LGH as an entity. Now, we also recommend having a steering committee. We propose including the Chief Information Systems Officers, along with Vice Presidents of Quality, and strong physician stakeholders within this committee. However, the rest of the committee should really be up to the discretion of LGH and should move as their culture transitions moving forward within an ACO model. We anticipate that the steering committee can be fully formed by the start of the ACO Track 1+ model, which is 2019. Now, let's just discuss how you can sufficiently train your staff. We propose directing a significant amount of time and resources to ensuring your physicians, clinicians, and staff members feel comfortable using your EHR system. Because ultimately, your upgraded EHR capabilities are only going to be as good as the people that are using them. So ensure that your clinicians feel comfortable leveraging these new reporting metrics. We propose utilizing program managers from your existing EHR vendor in order to train your staff. We also recommend, again, leveraging that tech startup community to bring in quality reporting analysts who can help the physicians with their quality reporting requirements and to help them interpret these results as well. We also recommend having strong financial incentives that are going to reward your clinicians from taking time away from their patients in order to complete your training and to pass a final test. The earlier the final test is completed, the greater the financial reward. Because we are not investing in a new EHR system, we're proposing an upgrade to the existing system. We anticipate that staff and clinicians can be trained by the start of the ACO Track 1+ model, which is in 2019. Now let's discuss how to further engage your physicians. It is imperative as healthcare leaders to envision how your physicians are going to react to these increases in the quality reporting requirements. For some, this may actually lead to an increase in physician burnout, which can reduce productivity as a whole and increase the rate of medical errors within your organization. So how can LGH be proactive about this? We recommend that LGH brings in more certified medical assistants to help with the burden that physicians are currently feeling within today's market. We also recommend that you leverage that tech startup community to bring in those quality reporting analysts that can help the physicians with the daily reporting requirements, along with interpreting those results. We anticipate that most of the hiring will be between the years of 2017 through 2019. So ultimately, an aligned organization is a more efficient system, and a more efficient system will allow you to earn your shared savings. And earning your shared savings can direct you to be a successful, accountable care organization, which will keep the patients at the center of your care model. So now are the final few points of our proposal. We have taken the pulse of Little Gem Health and have determined that its existing structure and partnership capabilities will leverage it to be a successful organization for the foreseeable future. We also anticipate that LGH is ready to step away from that traditional fee-for-service model and move with the market and to take on more risk in an advanced payment model. And we know that an accountable care organization strategically aligns with LGH's mission and vision to be an innovative thought leader in this changing healthcare era and to deliver care across the entire continuum. And most importantly, to keep the patient at the heart of the organization. We would like to thank you all for your time today, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may currently have.
We have time for questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation and information. A clarifying question. Early on, you talked about you've assessed that they need help with quality reporting, and your recommendation is to upgrade IT, not bring in something new. So can you kind of help bridge the fact that they need more quality reporting and what the upgrade versus the new system, how you made that decision?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to answer that. So currently the system is on PQR PQRS requirements, and thus we wanted to upgrade ACO, which is requiring 31 as of this time. So that's why we want to do a stepwise fashion. Over the years, that's where we're going to be in MIPS first, where there's a slightly a bit above PQRS, but then transitioning more toward. Then going past that, so the main thing is in the EHR system, we wanted to have quality reporting data to then come in and say, okay, this is the areas you need. How do we get there? And then slowly work up. Because sometimes an organization is, okay, we set our benchmark at 52, but then the national might be 70, but they don't know that. And so we want to create this dyad model along with having a program such as EHR and linking the two together with knowledge and application and getting ready for that going forward.
So good job, guys. I thought you did a good job sort of framing the financial implications at the start. I know it's sort of creative how you leverage the sort of the tech startups in the community. I was curious, you talked a lot early on sort of about leveraging the supply chain savings. Just why you decided to take that approach and how you thought it fit into the overall strategy.
Sure. There's many things you can cut down on, and I mean, following the patient through the care continuum with an ACO should ultimately reduce readmissions because you're following them, and there should be standards within the organization that are set. So that was a great option as well. But we chose to focus on supply chain because it's just such an area that you can have great improvements. I mean, like I said, a minimal investment in your current operations can reduce expenses by 15% in the first 3 years, which is great. And I mean, with 46 facilities, it's very important to be tracking that. So that's why we chose to focus on it. It's an easy fix. I wouldn't say easy, but it's something that you can get a lot of ROI on if you put a little bit into it. Does that answer your question?
Sure.
I have a quick question. So you talked a lot about the physicians and your primary specialty networks, but can you touch a little bit on how your advanced practice practitioners fit into your solution here?
Yes, absolutely. Zach, do you mind going to the APP's financials and how we're going to compensate? So they will also be included as well. Their compensation model moving forward will also be compensated in a way that it rewards them for improving their quality metrics and includes them as part of the group as well. So we have PCP, we'll have it separate for specialty care and along with APPs as well.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so right here, so their bonuses are going to depend on their quality metrics as well. And before they were actually not on a salary bonus model, so this would be a great improvement, although challenging, a great improvement to the current structure.
Could you flip to your org chart?
The one that you had in the presentation where you proposed some additional enhancements to the org chart. I really appreciated the value you put on including some additional folks at the table that are key to the success of the ACO. And I was just wondering how administratively the oversight of the ACO itself would report in through this org chart. So I was trying to come back to this to see how that would administratively fit into this hierarchy.
Oh yes, absolutely. So really the administrative support, it has to fit in with every part of the ACO model. So we really want to start with the analysts being able to work up. We wanted to add directors of quality in there and ultimately reporting to the chief quality officer, and ultimately the chief information system officer would have those analysts to leverage. As a whole though, we think that the C-suite really needs to set that example along with the physician stakeholders who are really going to align that organization and be almost like the key administrators to keep it all running and functioning as a unit. Because without their buy-in, it's really going to be challenged to coordinate care moving forward.
We have time for one more question.
I have a real quick question. So as you were kind of considering various options before presenting your recommendations, what did you consider about what your competitors might be doing?
Okay, so well, we noticed that they were a current ACO, and ultimately that aligns care and keeps patients, it helps to keep patients within their network moving forward. And we saw how they were leveraging their commercial payers as well. What we wanted to do is take a little bit of a different approach and go along with the continuum of care and connect with the community network, post-acute care, long-term care. That would differentiate us from our competitor who is going after more the commercial payers and the schools and the retail clinics. So we wanted to position ourselves in the market to take a different role moving forward and be a differentiator.
That's all the time we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
It's usually me, like,
It's-